Hi everyone, and welcome back to the final episode of Let's Play Planet Coaster, episode 15. And for the final time, we are in King's Mountain, and I have a very special guest with me. Now, you all may know, well, you will know this guy, and he's probably the most popular console creator that I know. Amazing bloke with a lovely wife. It's Michael from M&J Games. Hi, Michael.
Oh,
How are you?
good. Thank you, Corey. I wasn't expecting that intro. I think Iron Matty might have some beef with what you just said, or Tommy CM. So, you know.
Oh, I know, but every word I said is true. I think by far you are probably the most popular console creator, and you do some amazing work with your parks and your parkours. And I'm pretty sure that everybody who watches these videos will know who you are. If you don't, go over and subscribe to M&J Games. Constant uploads of videos, plenty of content for you. Both of them, Michael and Jasmine, such amazing people on and off the YouTube videos. But we are here today for a park tour. So we're going to run through this park. It is now finished and at 100% on the PS5. The park will be uploaded once this video airs, so look out on the workshop for the park if you want to download and have a look yourself. How do you think today's going to go, Michael? Are you excited?
Oh, I'm super excited. I mean, just at the overview, the look, of course, the coasters look amazing, and the theming, and this massive castle in the back, so I'm really excited to really take a tour around this park.
I am excited to jump into it with you. So, without further ado, we'll start at the entrance and let's jump in. Okay guys, so we're here at the entrance to the park. We'll take a walk into the main plaza area. And the first thing I want to do is just want to take a quick look at the car park here. Now, we're not going to look into this in too much detail. It was obviously the first thing that I built in the park. I didn't have enough percentage to put any cars in here, unfortunately, but just imagine that there's a full car park of cars in there. Just to quickly run down this end, I did build a little barrier for the cars to come in, and obviously leave as well. But yeah, so this is the first thing that I built in this park, and then this plaza was second.
Oh, my bad, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say, yeah, so just to confirm, shall I say, everything in this park was custom built by myself. So there's no blueprints, either in-game or workshop blueprints. Everything in here was built by myself. I just wanted to confirm that before we got started.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it looks amazing. I mean, right when you enter the park, you see the protective covering over the walkway with the monorails. You've even got the wires and cabling and stuff. And then this plaza, I like how you used a couple of different floor pieces. As you get closer, you've got the I guess that's the veranda roof, maybe, or the tile, whatever that's called. And I mean, that sign, that King's Mountain sign, I think is what this park's called, just looks phenomenal.
Yeah, again, all custom made. It did take me a while to come up with that, but again, some fantastic suggestions in the comments going through the Let's Play series. It pretty much brought this park together and gave it its name. I think it was Coaster Creations that came up with King's Mountain, and that sort of built the sign for me because I had to build a massive mountain.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, actually, if I just come over here, because I forgot to mention in the last episode, Diamond Diet, your name is now on the board because you did suggest to me about building the last coaster station in certain materials. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. And obviously everyone else who has helped throughout this series, all your names are here, and a very special thank you for all of your suggestions and comments. Yeah, so we won't spend too much time in the plaza area, but obviously we've got our first monorail station here, with a couple of little shops. We've got over here our guest services, which looks good, but No one's really using it at the moment. And we've got our toilets and medical centre over here as well.
Yeah, it looks. It looks great. Love the building detail. You know, all the different beams and stuff you use just to add that extra detail. And it looks like there's even a little backstage area to the right, kind of by the monorail station and stuff. So
There is indeed.
That looks great.
I'll just sneak up just for your benefit, Michael. Little backstage area back there. So if we walk through into the park, we come out onto the main street. Now, I have never actually really done a main street. In fact, I should probably mention this is actually the first ever park I've completed fully on my own, anyway. But yeah, I don't normally do main streets. It's not really my sort of thing. But I feel like I've pulled this one off.
Absolutely.
I really
just the
am
views.
happy with how these buildings have turned out.
I mean, the view of that castle, and it's kind of funny. It's called King's Mountain, and like it's not to the grand scale, but it kind of reminds me of King's Island when you walk in, or King's Dominion. They've got this kind of massive midway street or main street with like a stream going down the middle, but it's got a lot of these different building styles from all these different areas around the world, just kind of as the main area entryway into the park. And you've really done this part really well. I mean, that castle in the background just looks awesome.
Thank you, Marco. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was quite difficult coming up with the sort of styles and colouring of the buildings. I mean, I've seen so many different images on Google of different main streets, and some are quite plain, some are quite colourful, and I just sort of tried to mix it up a bit with a bit of both. Obviously, some buildings are pink and green, and some are just plain sort of brown and black. But I hope I did a good job.
No, you did, for sure.
You guys let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we come to the first coaster that I built in the park. So this first area is a sort of, I think the gem's called a Sapphire. This whole area is sort of themed to a sapphire, being obviously blue. So most of the stuff in this area is blue. But I came up with my first coaster, which the name I believe was suggested by Jasmine. I believe it was Twisted Chaos. We'll take a walk through the queue in just a second. But we've got this nice little seating area, some sticky ribs.
Great name.
Got some nice and icy. Juicy fruits.
Yes. Gosh, that little area is so well done. Just using the different pathing and stuff, and ceiling pieces. Also, I love the use of the little coaster under the Twisted Chaos, using that. I think that's an in-game piece, right? The coaster stuff right below it.
That's right. Yeah.
And so that's something that's like I don't think about using much at all, but it looks phenomenal right there.
I do think it goes with this ride as well, with the name as well. It does look a bit like a Twisted Chaos, so I think it went well. But let's take a walk through the queue line. We've got our little aspects of realism here.
Protective fencing, love it.
Got to have the protective fencing, and that's pretty much all the way through here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of path interaction with this coaster, which is just
absolutely
really cool.
Right, and that brings us to our first coaster. So we'll jump into a POV, shall we?
Sounds good.
Okay, and that was Twisted Chaos. So, Michael, what's your first thoughts?
Well, first off, I want to mention I'm glad you had that camera shot right there because that is awesome how you placed with that planter in the middle of the plaza, how you placed benches below it so that people are sitting down. And you also made the planter out of the temple blocks, so it's really nice seeing planters made out of different pieces other than the basic planter material that's given in the game. So that's awesome because it looks natural and looks perfect. But yeah, so back to the coaster, I think it's one of the best that I've seen you make. Super smooth. And I mean, you've made a lot of great coasters that I've seen. And, these coasters, a lot of times basically just kind of do that first twist and go back into the station. But I love how you extended and made it a longer layout. And it's super realistic too. A lot of little pops of airtime. So much interaction with the entrance queue and the exit line, and just looks absolutely fantastic on the skyline.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, this was, as I said, the first coaster that I built in this park. Quite happy with how it turned out, considering I've never built one of these before.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. So we'll move on to the next sort of area. So I came up to this area of the park, and you know how I like to have my different levels.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I came up onto this level and I built this little water drink shop, custom sign, little fountain there, little seating area that overlooks the first area of the park, which I think gives you some good views, especially the coaster and the main street, and of course over there, but we'll get to that. Yeah, so over here we can go one of two ways, but what I think I'll do is I'll go left, because we can come back out the other side. So I built this just as a little cut through, really. There isn't anything in here, it's just literally a walkway that goes up into this area. It's a nice little walk, which comes out into this little tiny plaza.
Yeah, looks good.
We've got two rides here, so we've got Little Cobra, and we've got Excavation. So Excavation is part of that first area, is that claw ride over there. It's got a little bit of theming to it. Obviously Excavation being like diggers and things like that. So put a little bit of theming in it down the queue line. You get some great views of the coaster there as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely looks good.
Yeah, and then it comes out, obviously, where we started.
Okay.
But if we go back up into this plaza, we have Little Cobra, which is the baby version, sort of that massive RMC you can see behind it. Again, just themed on Cobras themselves. There is, as you've probably already seen, big Cobras in that big one. There's the little baby ones over here. So let's take a ride on this 2-lap special. It's a 2-lap special, this one. Let's jump on. And that was Little Cobra. So, what do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, for a kid's ride, I think it's really well done. Love the theming. I love the fact how you've got the Cobra animatronics everywhere, and especially one that looks like it's about to just snap at the guest in line. So kind of terrifying for a kid's ride if you think about it from that standpoint. But I mean, really well done, good views. Once again, really good job with kind of how you've lined out the path and everything in the park and stuff.
Although, to be fair, with those Cobras, they are all turned off, so they are just static Cobras. It would obviously be a lot more scary if they were moving and snapping at the guests, but no, I have turned them off for that reason, to be fair. So I did think about the guests when I built that roller coaster.
Except for the 4-year-old kid who just looks and sees it and doesn't realize it's fake. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that completes our first area. Moving on to the next area, probably one of the main areas of the park, being that it does hold the main attraction in the park, or shall we say the centerpiece of the park, being this huge castle slash sort of palace, being obviously the King's Palace. Now, it's not the best. I'm not the best at building castles. I've never built one before on this game, but with how it turned out, I'm quite happy with it. And we'll take a look a bit more about that in just a moment. First, if there's a little cobra, there must be a king cobra, and there is. So let's go and ride this one, shall we?
Can we take a view? Yeah, look out real quick, because I love how you got now. If you look to the right, just kind of the view from this area looking back to the main part of the park. Even though you got the coaster in the way, it's like you've got this is now like the third level of elevation change in the park, right. Because it's like we're almost as tall as the height of that main coaster. If you look at that.
That is true.
That first coaster. So like it's truly kind of up on a mountain. You've done a good way of kind of masking the fact that you're not actually on, maybe even on the full terrain of, that this is actually still maybe elevated path by using those temple pieces and stuff. So if you look to the left a little bit and, you've just done a good job of kind of hiding some of the stuff that we can't hide in the game, you know?
Yeah.
So it looks really good, and I mean, obviously all the detail you put in is phenomenal.
It does give you, from up here as well, it does give you some great views. If you look in certain directions, you do get to see some things that you wouldn't see from other areas of the park, and I quite like that. I'm really about my sight lines. I do really like a good sight line, as I'm sure a lot of other people do as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, let's take a walk through this queue. This is just a basic queue, this one. I didn't end up putting much theming in here. Obviously I put some fencing and stuff, but it's just really a cattle pen queue, just leading into the station. A little bit more detail in the station, but let's take a ride on King Cobra. So what do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Good layout. I love the kind of first element with that inversion into the drop, because that's something we haven't seen on RMC yet, but it's also not out of the question, so it's not an unrealistic element. And love that you have your photo booth, as you're becoming the man at creating photo booths on console. And I mean, but honestly, what I maybe love more than anything is the colors. Like, it just stands out and pops. That purple and yellow, like, Just kind of reminds me of like a Batman ride or something like that. So it
Indeed, it does.
looks really awesome.
Yeah, so again, going with that same theme of different gems, I was looking online, obviously, at different sort of gemstones and like their colouring, and obviously the first area was blue. It was obviously dedicated to sort of sapphire. This area is yellow and purple, which correlates to a gem I believe called ammonite or something like along those lines.
Hmm.
I'm probably
Okay.
saying that wrong, but it's called ammonite or something, and that gemstone is purple and yellow. So I thought it went well with this area.
Yeah. I
Got
love
some,
this little walkway. If you turn back around, just to kind of show what you did right there, you got the trees in the middle. It's almost like you've got another. It's almost like it's a main street with how it's lined up.
yeah,
But really good job using the different coloring for the flooring tiles, and those are, I think they're like, I forget the planter pieces on what those are called, but kind of using that as a design. I mean, it looks absolutely outstanding.
well, thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, obviously being the main sort of attraction in the park, the castle is here. I thought it had to have a sort of its own sort of main street plaza type thing. Um, yeah, especially as this is probably the area with the most rides. So I thought, yeah, it really turned out well here. I'm quite
Mm-hmm.
happy with it. Um, yeah, so we got the bumper cars at the end there. As you can see, there is a queue line there, and I'll show you what that's for in just a second. It is this Monorail Express. So it goes all the way. Oops, down into the castle, into the monorail. So you've got the monorail right in the bottom of the castle. Um,
Yeah, it looks awesome.
right, okay, so over this side we do have a little drink shop, energy drinks.
Okay.
Probably your favourite ride in the whole of Planet Coaster, I believe.
Charo swing.
You do love
They
a
always
chair
look
swing.
they always look so beautiful wherever they're at in the park. It just gives great sight lines.
They do look good from any angle, I'll give you that. And we got another ride here, the King's Army, which
Okay.
is a dark ride. So we'll take a ride on that in a moment. Just to quickly have a walk through this queue, all of these fences are custom made, copied and pasted all the way around this queue, which was an absolute nightmare, I'll have you know.
I mean, it looks like it.
Get a nice little view of the dark ride as it comes out over there, and again some good views of the park that you wouldn't see from other areas, so it's worth taking a ride on the Chero swing. I think there are some rides in here that was not named, mainly because I mean I couldn't think of any names, but obviously there weren't many suggestions that came in at the same time, so some of them haven't been named. I'm guilty of that, so I do apologise. As we worm our way through this massive queue, let's jump the fence, and should we take a ride on this dark ride?
Sounds good to me.
Let's go for it. King's army. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this one, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, I've got no expertise as I have yet to truly do a dark ride, but that was really well done. I love the using the marble flooring throughout, which is more versatile since you can change the elevation of it. I mean, just so many wonderful things about this dark ride, and obviously you had it themed around the King's army, so you kept it in that kind of medieval theme and stuff, and really well done. Really impressed by that.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, so my thoughts with that ride was a sort of battle for the castle, helping the king to obviously overcome his opponents and then take the castle. I'm not one for dark rides myself. I have never really done them. So that was my first sort of real attempt at a dark ride. One at least like that. I mean, I've done the old water rides and things like that, but never really done a proper dark ride before.
Yeah. And let me. No, I was just gonna say real quick as we enter this castle. You were saying before you don't think this castle's that good. You're not giving yourself enough credit, man. This castle's awesome. You did an amazing job with this. So, I mean, you even had time to put all that ivy all over it and stuff. I mean, really, really well done.
It did take some time. I'll be honest. But the problem is, I don't think I've used it as much as I probably could have, because this is the only area in the castle you can actually walk through.
Yeah.
I think if I had more space, then I probably would have done a lot more with it. But my main focus for it was really just the centerpiece. It sort of reminds me a little bit like Disneyland or Disney World when you walk out onto that main street and the first thing you see is the massive castle in the background, and that's sort of where I got the idea from. But moving on to our next area. So this is obviously the ruby area, the red area. This was the last area that I built in this park. So a lot of you would have probably recently seen me building this. But I think this area's turned out nice. It's quite neat. It's quite small. There is only a few rides here. Obviously we've got the is it the Vietnamese carousel? Venetian, my apologies. So we've got the carousel here.
I think that's what's called at least.
With a nice little detailed queue. I don't think there's a theme park I haven't been to that hasn't got a carousel at some place in the park. They just, I don't know, they just fit, don't they? No matter where you put them. You get a nice little flyover from the monorail in here as well, and a little seating area with some great views of this coaster, as you would have seen in the last episode.
Oh yeah, it looks great.
There's a neat little bridge that goes over to the coaster area. Got a nice little building here with some toilets, staff room in there. So get your hot dogs. Got a little hot dog stall here. Right outside the entrance. I wouldn't suggest eating the hot dogs before you go on this ride, by the way, just saying. Yeah, again, all custom fencing all the way throughout this queue line. It was an absolute nightmare getting it onto this bridge, but again, custom bridge, nice little flyover from the coaster.
Yeah, man, I'll say in terms of eating food before a coaster, it's really interesting to me because when I was at Dollywood with Jasmine on Monday or Sunday, I had a milkshake right before I went on Lightning Rod twice, which is that launched wooden coaster.
Oh yeah.
And I was perfectly fine. So to me, it's like airtime I can eat before, and it's fine. It's just a matter of the inversion part of it. But yeah, I mean, this coaster looks awesome.
Wicked. Well, we're going to take a ride. Just going back on what you just said, I think I'm similar. I mean, I'd never be sick or get nauseous on rides, but to be fair, I don't think I've ever eaten just before going on a ride. But that's a story for another day. Let's take a ride on Fury. go. And that was Fury. So what do you think of that one then, Michael?
Yeah, I thought it was great, and I know when we talked about this before, you said you just kind of build layouts. You just kind of built the layout without really looking too much at stuff. But it's almost like you combined a lot of different elements from different companies that make hypercoasters. Like the first part in the end kind of almost had like a Giga vibe, where it's more about the speed on the turns and stuff. You did the Intamin or Mac hyper turnaround, which is kind of like a non-inverting loop in a sense. You had a couple pops of airtime hills, so you just kind of integrate a lot of different elements into that design, and I really liked it a lot. Plus, did I see a transfer track at the end?
I believe you did. Should we take a look?
Yeah, that's music to my ears right there. Look at that. I like how you got the tires underneath there, kind of essentially almost like it'd be like turning a little, some kind of chain that would be there that'd be moving the track over potentially.
That's it.
Yeah, really well done.
Here.
And looks like those are the, not the iron girders, but the locomotive rails used for the...
That's it. The locomotive rails. Yeah, I really like those job. Looking like shutters. They really look sort of realistic.
For sure. Yeah, I love that coaster, man. The only thing is, I know you're at 100%, but look to the left. Just imagine if you had enough percent to custom support that lift hill. How awesome that would look.
I know, that would look amazing. I mean, maybe with the glitch, you probably could, but...
Yeah. I mean, this is the best ride photo section in the park right here, in my opinion. I love those little cabinets you made below. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, again, it's just a mixture of materials. Got a temple piece there. I think some screens and obviously the little screen mounts. Gone for a more modern screening up here. Normally I just stick the TVs up there and leave it at that, but I've framed them like you would see sort of in a modern ride shop, photo shop. But yeah, so this is all that there is to see in this last area. Let's take a walk now up this way. And I believe this takes us into our last area of the park, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, last area of the park. So as you take a walk down here, get some good little views of the log flume as it flies past.
Yeah, it looks great. That sundial ride might be my second favorite flat ride, just because I love that one and the hammer swing just give you such good views throughout the park.
They do, and with this ride especially, it's one that you can see from anywhere in the park. When it's going, no matter where you're standing in this park, you can see it above everything else. It's brilliant. Yeah, so again, going with the realism, I've put my little safety fence up there. To our right here, we have Gemstones Mine and Dine.
Oh, it looks awesome. Oh wow, are those gemstones you actually used right there? Which would make sense.
Yep, they are the gemstones, and I like what they do to the sign.
Gosh, that looks so cool.
So yeah, that's obviously a functioning restaurant. Got loads of benches out here, little seating areas. Another plaza area. We've got our bits and bobs gift shop. We have a little gift shop in there, and I use this pick from Matty. Iron Matty. I saw in one of his videos that he did this. I think it was on one of his Eden Gardens videos. He put a TV in the window, and obviously put these sort of images on them to make it look like a shop. And I really, really like that idea. So thank you, Matty. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great.
Yeah, I quite like how it turned out. And then obviously over here we've got the third and final monorail station. Obviously, as you probably already noticed, this area is green. which obviously signifies emeralds. So dotted around here, we have emeralds everywhere. We do have one more coaster to get on over there, but we do have a log flume, Emerald's Taurus Adventures or Adventure. Again, nice little seating area over here.
Yeah, I mean that sign is just majestic right there.
You wait till you see it at night. Speaking of which, we will take a view of this park, sort of overall view of the park at night as well, so you can see the sort of lighting that's been put in here. Got a nice little sign to enter here. And you take a little walk through the queue line. You have these custom queue covers, just to give a little bit of shading in the hot weather. But you also get some good views of the log flume as well, and the rest of the park, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean your queues throughout this park are just really well done.
Thank you again, I appreciate that. And then we have our station.
Yeah, and once again, really cool design. Good use of the haunted house wall pieces there, and the custom beams. Looks like the planks that you use there, but color them orange. So really good job. And you got some cross beams. So just another really good job with the detailing on the station.
Lovely, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Should we take a ride on Emerald Taurus Adventure?
Sounds like a plan.
tourist adventure. So, Michael, what did you think of my log flume ride?
Yeah, I think I think it was really well themed, and you did a good job um, kind of hiding the sides of the log flume a lot of the time and building some troughs and stuff. But I mean, it definitely had a long layout, but it was very interactive. And my goodness, the views that you get from the top of the hills and stuff, like, it's, I mean, you just get some amazing views of the park.
Yeah, again, it's the sight lines are really something that I focus on in any theme park that I do. I just love the way that certain things look. I mean, even just in the background, that hypercoaster, I just love the sight lines of seeing certain things from certain angles, and yeah, I really try to focus a lot on that. And that brings us to our final ride of the park, I believe. I don't think I've missed any, but now this one is one of the ones that hasn't got a name, unfortunately. So this is just Motorbike Ride. But with this queue line, I've gone for, I don't know if you've ever seen, have you seen Stealth at Fort Park?
I mean, I've seen the POV of the coaster, but I haven't seen any of the queue or anything like that.
I see. So the queue line, it sort of interacts with the launch. You do go underneath it a couple of times, and when you're standing underneath there and it rattles over your head, it's exciting. But yeah, that's what I was sort of going for with that first part of the queue line. Just to sort of,
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it actually does anything for the guests in the game, but just the look and sort of feel of it as you're walking through there. And then up into the station. Nice simple station for this one. Nice open station, should I say. And we'll grab that motorcycle. So let's take a ride on the final coaster of the park. Our motorbike ride. So, for the final coaster of the park, what did you think there, Michael?
Yeah, I think it was really good, and if I remember correctly, I think you said the loose theme that you had was that you were it was kind of racing on the roads, some back roads in the countryside in the UK, right? Which
That's
is why
right.
you kind of have the tarmac and stuff there. So, I mean, I think Motorbike's a good name for the coaster to kind of resemble that.
That is not a bad shout. Yeah, no, that's exactly what it was. Obviously, when I created the theme for this coaster, yeah, in my mind, I was thinking, because many times I've been driving down a country road and you see these motorbikes flying around the corners and tearing down the country lanes, and yeah, it just has that feel. So yeah, I'm quite happy with how the theming turned out, and I like the colouring too. We've got this little splash zone here. This was really just a space filler, but I quite like how it turned out. It's just a little splash zone for the one of the drops on the log flume.
Yeah, it turned out great.
And this path takes us all the way back down to our main street. And there we have it. So, overall view of the park, just while we talk through what we've seen today, Michael, do you have any thoughts, any suggestions, or anything you want to say?
Yeah, it was. I've seen a lot better. No, I'm just messing with you, man. No, this is great. I mean, just the detail you used was awesome. I like how you. I mean, this would be tough to do. What you did of taking building suggestions from people in terms of a building kind of piece, and then using that to actually build out the buildings. And the layout's really awesome. And I love how you just constantly changing the terrain, as that's something that I need to continue to work on as well. I think it looks amazing. Absolutely love it, and can't wait to look at it in more detail and spotlight it for our channel.
Brilliant. I'm looking forward to that. I did promise at the beginning that we would take a look at this at night, so let me just change it to night time. And there we go. So, as you can see, I did focus a lot on night lighting. So this park could be a day or night park, whichever one you fancy. There's a lot of lighting in all areas of the park, but I'm quite happy with how it's turned out.
Especially the Twisted Chaos area and the Emerald area. With those lights in the Twisted Chaos, are those just triggered to where they just kind of flash every couple seconds or something?
Yes. So I laid down a sequencer, and obviously all the lights, and I used the sequencer to make them flash in that order. It's quite tricky because you do have to get the timing right in order for it to sort of constantly go up like that. But once it's done, I think it's a really neat touch.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Amazing. So that is the end of the park tour, guys, and the end of the series. It's sad to say, but this park is finished. I will hopefully be back in the near future with a new series. I don't know what it's going to be or when it's going to be yet, but I will be back at some point in the future. I do still currently have a series going on with the lovely Jasmine from MJ Games with our collab park, so don't forget to go over and check that out if you haven't already.
The better half of M&J Games.
Definitely, yes, but she wasn't available tonight, so I had to stick with you, Michael. I'm only joking. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to see future videos on this channel. Don't forget to go over to M&J Games if you haven't already, to subscribe to his channel. He does have daily, I believe it's daily content. So such an amazing genre of coasters and parks and everything on his channel, so definitely go and check that out. Thank you, Michael, for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. Any last thoughts or last words before we sign off?
No, I just really appreciate you inviting me on, and I think would be good to mention that for people who are either new to your channel or kind of newer to my channel, that you and I actually did a collab together back about, oh my gosh, this is getting on about 9 months ago, my goodness, called Avery Forest. That's on our channels if you want to go check that out, because we a lot of elevation change. I think we were both really happy with how that turned out.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely, if you haven't already, definitely go and check that collaboration park out. It was the first one that we did together, and I think it turned out amazing. So yeah, definitely go and check that out as well. Guys, that is it. I do want to lastly just say a very special thanks to everybody who has supported throughout this series, everyone who's commented, liked, suggested, subscribed. You've all been so amazing, so thank you everyone for your support. That is it, guys. So thanks for watching. Bye, guys.
See ya.